Okay, this is a Boeing 737-800 cockpit. We plan to make a flight from Bradley International, Connecticut to Boston Logan International. Now this is the cockpit view, the panel, avionics panel, as you see from the cockpit. So now let us try to understand. This is the altitude at which we will be flying. Now for this flight, I will make another video on the flight planning, and I send it separately. We will be flying at around 4,000 feet. It's a short flight. I found the distance by road around 110 miles. So this is about 80 or 90 nautical miles. So the flight may take about 20 or 30 minutes. So let us get going. So I put the altitude at 4,000 for our flight. We'll go from right to left and look at everything. Okay, and unless you hold this, now if you hold it, you can see it is green. Unless you hold it, it will not be taken by the autopilot. So once you are the cruise mode at the flying altitude, you set the altitude at 35,000 or whatever, and then hold it. And this is the autopilot command button. So and then autopilot master. So you put this. This whole area is called MCP, Master Control Panel, but normally called Autopilot Panel. And this is where we put in all the flight parameters. Now let us go left. This is a vertical speed. This is the speed from ground to 4,000. Now it is set. We can even change it. Now I'll set it as the default, 1800 feet per minute. That will be red here. This is the vertical speed tape. I put it here. Vertical speed tape. Now it is showing horizontal 0. When you are taking off, you will see this needle will go up to 1800. See the mark here. Okay. Now let's go back again. Now runway, Bradley runway is 06. US they call it 6, but other places they call it 06, 2 digits. So it is 60-degree magnetic. Okay. So what is 60-degree magnetic? This is east-west. So this is 90. This is 270. This is 360 or 000. And when you come down, it is 180. So the runway 60 means we are somewhere here, like this, oriented. Magnetic. I'm talking about this is the magnetic compass. So you look at that. This is the plane. This is 059. That is 60, 06. And when the plane turns right or left, you will see the magnetic compass is moving. Plane will stay here. And this will show also the route. This is the route we have made. Okay. Now let's go leftwards. So VORLS, LOC and approach I will explain during the flight. Here heading. Now we will set 059 is the heading of 060. So I'll set the heading 059. And the bank angle, we have to be very careful to change, not to change it, the 30 degree is kept there. And again, unless you hold it, now hold it becomes green. Unless you hold it, it won't be taken by the autopilot. Then you can manually fly wherever you want. So once you hold it, you will take the heading of 59. So I will hold it here for our flight. After we take off, then we will take a GPS route. We will explain. We'll look at that here. Now this is a nav and GPS. The most important. This is switch between navigation and GPS. Now GPS is the way here. This is a GPS. This is a route. This is a runway. Now we are in the runway 059, and I have planned this. We will look at that in the cruise time, because after takeoff and before approach, we have some time when we will look at that. Or not all everything we look at little more closely. Now coming here, this is the indicated airspeed, and this is picked up by the pitot tube and the static pot on the outside of the plane. Now we will put the speed at 250 knots. These are in nautical miles, not in the statute miles. So 250 I will put in US, below 18,000 feet you fly at 250 maximum. It's not the ground speed. We'll talk about the different speeds some other time. There are ever so many things. If you are interested, we will go through one by one. Ever so many. It's a great ocean of information. Now here, this is the speed I set. Now it will be actuated only if you put this auto throttle. This is the auto throttle and the speed button. So we will before takeoff we will do that. Now if you press that, the plane will start moving. Right now I have brake. I have given the brake. This is the brake. Parking brake is on. If you want to release the parking brake, this is how parking brake is off. So this is the central pedestal. We'll keep it there. Then backwards, this is the flight director which will be showing here. That shows the lateral and pitch information, and we follow this to make sure that the autopilot commands are, if you are manually flying, we are following. This is the plane, and this sky. This is the wing of the plane. It shows this is where we are in pitch mode of the plane. This is the sky. This is Earth. This tape is the altitude. Now you see 4,000 is here. This 4,000 we have set. It is here. If we change that, it changes here. So we'll keep it here 4,000. This is a 10. So the vertical speed I explained, and this is the barometric pressure. And now this is the annunciator panel, which will come when you are in cruise, and this is the altitude picked up by the air pressure outside. So this is the radio altimeter, which will give direct height from above the runway when you are touching down, because this will be more precise. We'll talk about that altitude variations and with the temperature, density, altitude. It's very, very interesting science. Okay, right now, just imagine this is our radio altimeter. We will be using this for landing at around 150 feet above, below 200 feet. That is called the minimum. You must have heard when you have seen the videos. We will cut off the autopilot and then try to allow the plane sink. Touchdown. Now this is the speed type. We have set 250, so that it shows here 250, and this is right now 000. These are our stall warnings and stuff like that. There are so many things. Each instrument we can cover in maybe 3-4 sessions, but we will go slowly one by one. Now this is the pedestal. Now let us look at the plane itself. This will be little longer. Actually we can do only 33 minutes, I found one video. Then we'll talk about that part. I need some more better ways to make a video direct from the PC screen. I will look at that. Right now I am filming it using my sending it to my casting it to my TV screen, as I said, and then using a phone camera and just filming it. It's a laborious process. On the top of it, the files are very big. If you 30 minutes video will be 4 GB, and it's not very easy to manage and then finally get it to a YouTube or something like that. Anyway, we will that process also we'll talk later. Right now, this is, let us look at the plane. Okay, did we finish everything? No. Now here, we came here, now the course. This shows the course at the runway approach. So if in our case now Logan International, we are going to come on 33, runway 33. That is 330 magnetic heading. So we need to, we'll look at the charts. Soon after this, if I get time today, I will make another small compilation of the charts, relevant charts for this particular flight, and then try to send it. So read that in conjunction with the, this one, this flight video. Maybe this flight video itself may be in 2-3 parts. Reason is beyond 30 minutes, it gets cut off. Since I am talking and trying to explain, the flight itself is 30 minutes, so it will take 2 or 3 videos. See them in a when you get time. Okay, here now this runway is 330, runway 330 is the course. So I have set it for Logan, Boston runway 33 approach. Now we need to set the radio. So this is the radio. So again, when I explain the charts, you will see how from where we pick up all this information. It's very interesting, fascinating. Well, now here the radio ILS frequency I am picking up. That's the one which will allow you to capture the center line and the angle of it's called the glide path, the angle of descent, to touch down precisely at some point. At the touchdown point on the runway. It's a trigonometry that the glide path is normally 3 degrees. If there are obstructions, it is higher and all, but it is given in the chart. Now here we set this. These are the communications COM1 and COM2 for radio, ATC and all that. Now for navigation, these are nav1 and nav2. So I will set this up with the frequency of ILS, which is as per the chart, it is 10.70. So I will set it 10.70. Let me check that. Yes, I will put these charts later into a small brief another video and read that. Again, come back and see this flight, so you will get a good handle of how do we fix this. Now I'll cross this. Alright, now we set the altitude, we set the heading, we set the speed, we set the course. The course is the approach course, not the course from Bradley to Logan. That will be in the GPS or some other flight planning. Here you can see the course. Now this is the Bradley to Logan. So you can see it is 79 nautical miles. So these are the various waypoints. We'll look at that after the next video. Everything related to the flight planning, the charts, maps, it's great information. Okay, now we came here. This I will leave for the time being. These are various for viewing this. You can change these views. All that is too detailed. It's not even in the Cessna I flew last. This is all in the commercial jets. Very sophisticated. This is called a glass cockpit. Okay, now this part I will leave. There are so many details. I'll go back to the original view here. Yes, and with our heading. This is okay, I'll cross this for the time being. Now let us look at the plane inside, the physical part. Okay, now we are seeing this for setting. I made a 2D panel, or I pulled up a 2D panel for setting all the parameters. It is easy to do that. This is the cockpit, and you can see here the instruments are duplicated. This is the captain's side and this is the first officer side. See, the instruments are duplicated. You can even change this instrument. One here is a different instrument here, depending on the requirement. So this is the master control panel. This part, we will touch later. Now, this is okay. This is the throttle pedestal. Okay, this is the throttle pedestal. Now we pulled it up on the top, so we will do that and then look at that. And back here, these are the circuit panels and things like that. Here, this is the radio stack, and if you want to see, this is the radio stack. This one where we put in 110.70 here, 110.70. Okay, and this is the tiller. Okay, now let us look at the yoke. Now the yoke is or the stick. They are like yoke now. It's old-fashioned terminology. So this one yoke is, just put this. See, for takeoff you pull the yoke. You are pitching up, and for this is pitching down. This is turning left. Not turning, is banking in aeronautical language. This is banking right, and these two are the pedestals, rudder pedals, not pedestal, rudder pedals. So you see the rudder pedals are moving left, right. That's how you keep your plane in the center line of the runway. This is the tiller, which is used for, let's say for a sharp turn. You're coming from, you are landed, you wanted to exit the runway and then go to the parking bay, you need to take a sharp turn. So you turn the nose wheel, not the rudder. So this is done, this is only given on the captain's side, and captains are only entitled to use them. That is the protocol. So this is called tiller. So we have looked at these controls, and now look at the this central pedestal expanded. This is the flap lever. You pull and push. You see it. Now when you take off, you are normally at around 10 position. So you pull the flap and put it here to 10. So you can see that position of the 10 map here. In the right in front of you, this is a 10. This is a flap indication. And the outside, how does it look like? Let us see. This is the flap. And now let us put this here. Now if you move the flap, you can see the flap is moving now. While landing, you will be putting the full flap. You must have seen when you look for the video. And when you are taking off, you are keeping it around 10. So the flap is moving. So I will keep it at 10 before when we take off. Then the ailerons are on the wing, on the top of the wing. Again, let's look at that. The auxiliary APU unit that gives the air conditioning, starting power, etc. And these two are the main engines. This is the begin. Let's look at the other view. Yeah. This is the aileron which turns the plane. You can see, not turn, back the plane. So when you are in the cruise or the flight, you turn left or right. Banking it using the aileron. This is the spoiler or the speed brake. You must have seen when we land, it opens up. That is to reduce it will give this braking effect, along with the wheel brakes and the reverse thrust. Now let us go back into the plane and okay, we didn't look at the radar. Let us look at the radar also for the sake of. So we are on runway 06. You can see here runway 06. This is the taxi. So this is the cross runways. So we came on the taxiway and then came here. We are ready to take off. We set the heading 0.9 so that we will be along the runway center line as to take off till we get some point and activate the GPS. Alright, now we were to look at the radar also. Now radar, this is how the radar moves, left, right. So this is how you keep the center line of the runway. And during cruise, actually the banking is done in conjunction, aileron in conjunction with the radar. That's much more detailed aspect. We will right now just think ailerons are allowing you to bank, and radar is keeping the center line, the lateral while we are now taking off on the runway. Okay, now we will go back and start our flight. So we'll scan everything from here. Again, flaps are set, landing gear, of course, now has to be down. We are on ground. This brake I will put it to rejected takeoff. It means there are 3 speeds: V1, VR, V2. Important speeds. Then there are so many other V references and all that for the flat speeds. Now, in real flight, the first officer will be scanning everything, communicating with the ATC. I'm talking about the takeoff, and then or landing. If the pilot is doing takeoff and landing, if he wishes, he can give the responsibility to the first officer. But normally, first officer sits on the right side. The captain or the commander sits on the left side, and the first officer reads out everything. Now, when we are taking off, the speed, at particular speed, we rotate the plane. We are seeing that's VR, rotational velocity. So that's for this flight, it is 140, 142, between 140, 145. It depends on the runway altitude, air density, the loading on the aircraft, and so many other factors, the fuel. But right now, let's take 140 knots. So at 140 knots, I will pitch up. You've seen the yoke stick. I'll pull the stick. In Boeing it's a stick. In Airbus it's a side stick, like the gaming one. They don't like to call it a joystick. They call it a side stick. There is the one in the center. The big one is not there. There's a small side stick. Okay. Now we at 140 we take off. We will pitch up around 10 or 15 degrees. So we will put the auto throttle, release the brake. I'll release the brake first. Put the auto throttle. So that these throttles, in the old days, you used to move it manually, but now it's all FMS, that's flight management system. Computer drives this depending on the speed set. This is auto throttle. It gives the signals and move it. So flap is set. This stabilizer, we will talk about that later. This is the fire suppressant switches. This is APU. These are the engine 1 and engine 2. Now, let us, I think we are set. So we put the auto throttle here, you see, and I will put the heading hold. I'll put the speed hold. This one I will do after takeoff. And autopilot I will do. Now see the plane is taking off. So I will use the rudder pedal to keep in the center line. We are at around 140. I'm keeping in the center line. At 140 I will now I rotate the plane around 15 degrees. This has to be done carefully, otherwise you can go into a stall of the plane. Now I will move, it's around 780 feet above the runway. So I put it in the hot and autopilot. Now you can see the plane is climbing. Plane is climbing. I put the landing gear up. Pull the flaps back. Put the flaps back. Okay. Now I'll go to the cockpit. I will activate GPS and activate viewer localizer. These two work in conjunction. So the flap is back to 0. It's climbing to 600 feet. This is the vertical speed climb at 1800 feet. Heading, we have not put the heading hall. That's why it was turning, so I put the heading hall. Alright, we have put it on GPS localizer, that's why the heading hall went. So we are now moving towards the, let's stop for a moment, or let's look at the GPS. Now you can see we took off on the runway. This is the GPS route. So the plane is turning after when we take off, it is along the runway, straight on the runway. 059 was the heading. Now this is the GPS route. So the plane is turning to the GPS route, turning left, turning right, sorry. This will, this is the GPS route to Boston. Now, this may give a, actually we are flying east, but then this is on the heading mode, this GPS. This is a plane, you get the heading. But if you want to see how we are here, see this is how we took off. I'll put the engine noise lower so we can talk. So we are taken on the runway straight. Now I activated the GPS at somewhere here. So the plane has started turning. So this is the heading of the plane. This is the track or the course. Now when we come here, also the plane can be heading even this way, but you can even, suppose there's a wind, you will be heading this way, and this is the track or the course. So now the plane will come to this magenta line is active leg. Now we can see all the way to Boston. This is Boston. This is the aeronautical maps. There are so many things. These are all different viewer point navigation points, runways. This is Boston. This is Bradley. Now the plane will come on this, and somewhere here we start our approach. This looks like straight route, but then you can't fly like that. Somewhere here I will take an approach, like we did in the Bombay flight. We'll look at that when in much more detail when we approach for landing. Right now, from here to here will be on the straight, so we can once it is set here in the pause, normally the pilots also have a free time. They start reading newspaper, talk about their family or friends, all those kind of stuff. Because and keep watching the instrument if there is anything abnormal. Otherwise, the plane takes up to the point. From here again, we will get active, and then we'll see how we approach and land. All right, now let's fly a little bit here. By then, I think this is about 30 minutes. The video must have been over. We will try to do as much as possible. I will have to make maybe 2 or 3 videos, but put them, see them in sequence, and then also look at the chart, which are charts and that some key information which I will be setting up. I will reduce the engine noise. Okay, now you can see the heading is turning. This is the heading again, this same heading. So it is approaching, it's already on that magenta path. You can see here. This is 5 nautical miles. So you can change the range. Now I will change the range for the entire Boston up to Boston. So you can see the 100 nautical miles. This range from here to here. Now these are the various waypoints which you have seen. Now this is Boston. Now let's increase it. So you see the waypoints here, which you have seen here. Whitney, Graham, Bosox. Now we are flying. This is the leg we are doing now. That is Whitney to. We are crossing Whitney now. Here, this is Whitney. Okay, this is Whitney waypoint. But this triangle is the waypoint. Then you grab here. Now we are on this leg, Whitney to Graham, which is 21.2 nautical miles. No, Whitney to Graham will be 9.6 nautical miles. This is a short leg. And then this. Now when we reach this by YB, from there the runway is 19.1 nautical miles. From there we will start the approach, which is really interesting, and lot of things now one need to do.